So there's some reports that Israel has broken the ceasefire, and of course they're saying it's out of self-defense. This is the story from Reuters. Israeli military says it conducted targeted strike in central Gaza, is what they're claiming. That Israeli forces carried out a targeted strike on an individual in central Gaza who was planning to attack Israeli troops, Israel's military said on Sunday. So he was planning on attacking. He didn't actually attack, but he was planning, so they say. And so they struck him and said, look, we didn't break the ceasefire agreement. Sounds like you broke the ceasefire agreement. It says U.S.-backed ceasefire is in force between Israel and Palestinian militant group Hamas just over 2 years since the war in Gaza Strip began, but each side has accused the other of violations. Israel said it had targeted a member of Islamic Jihad. On Sunday, the Palestinian militant group said in a statement that the Israeli military's claim of a planned attack by the group was mere fallacious allegation. Right. And here's Marco Rubio saying, it's fine. So people are questioning, why is it Israel's allowed to attack inside of Gaza? I thought there was a ceasefire. And Marco Rubio says, no, it's fine. It's self-defense.
We talk about the strike against the Palestinian Jihad individuals. Yeah, look, Israel didn't surrender its right to self-defense. Obviously, the ceasefire is based on obligations on both sides. By the way, we'd also like to see Hamas speed up the return of hostage bodies. We still have 13 hostages, 2 Americans included. But we don't view that as a violation of the ceasefire. They have a right, and there's an imminent threat to Israel, and all the mediators agree with that.
That's been their excuse this whole time, self-defense. So when you say Israel has the right to self-defense if they're actually attacked, and then you defend yourself. I mean, that's what self-defense is. But what Israel's engaged in is vigilante justice, for one, a genocide that was done in the name of, that was a vigilante justice. Sort of, we're going to just, it was revenge is what it was. And it was genocide, and it was opportunistic to go and try to wipe out a whole group of people, right? And then they said, well, we want our hostages back. Well, we know how they got the hostages back. That was really only through negotiation. Very few exceptions otherwise. So the self-defense claim, that is when somebody's coming at you. Think about what self-defense actually is. Someone's attacking you and you kill them. Like someone breaks into your home and they're not supposed to be there. You're now under attack and you kill them. That's self-defense. Self-defense isn't me going outside of my apartment building, for example, walking the streets, looking at somebody and saying, I think you're about to attack me, and me killing them. And then me saying, it was in self-defense because I'm pretty sure they were at some point going to break into my place and kill me. Well, they didn't yet. That actually doesn't hold in a court of law. But somehow in Israeli thinking, of course, anything and everything is self-defense. You looked at us, just self-defense because we need the land just in case, you're hostile. So we just have to take it. That's self-defense. Just unbelievable that they're claiming this. But it's not just the Gazans that are under attack. Israel has also had, if you don't remember, a ceasefire agreement with Lebanon. And yet this is what we're seeing in Lebanon over the last week. Massive strikes from Israel in Lebanon. I thought there was a ceasefire agreement there, just like there was a ceasefire agreement in Gaza. And yet you're still striking people and saying, well, we thought they were going to attack us. What is that all about? Al Jazeera has been reporting on this, that Israel, despite ceasefires, continues to attack around the region. In fact, they give a little bit of a breakdown of what they're still attacking. So they're going after the West Bank. Now, remember, West Bank was supposed to be never under attack. There's no Hamas there. It's not under the power of Hamas. Israel's cracking down hard on Palestinians in the occupied West Bank. The Israeli military has killed more than 1,000 Palestinians since October 7th in the West Bank alone, and has intensified its efforts to annex the occupied territory. For the second straight week, Israeli soldiers and settlers are harassing and arresting Palestinians trying to harvest their olives. It's olive harvest season right now, and they are out there harassing them and arresting them. One of the Palestinians Israel recently detained had been released during January's short-lived ceasefire in a prisoner exchange, then was rearrested, according to Wafa news agency. So that's what they do. Syria. Oh, they're still going after Syria. The Israeli military has been especially active in Syria in recent days, with local media reporting nearly daily incursions into Syrian territory along the southern border. Last December, as the regime of ousted President Bashar al-Assad fell, Israel encroached on Syria's territory and attacked its military infrastructure around the country. Israel has kept up its incursions, even though Syria's new government has not reciprocated Israel's aggressions. So now they've got a new government in power in Syria. And that new government is like, we want to be friends with Israel. They don't fire rockets at Israel. They're not backed by Iran. You know, all of the excuses as to why we had to oust Bashar al-Assad, right? It was, well, he's aggressive towards Israel. Now you've got a new government in there. They're not doing anything to Israel except trying to make friends with them. And what is Israel doing? Bombing them. That's what Israel's doing. So what exactly is their excuse? The incursions include reconnaissance overflights, ground infiltration by Israeli soldiers, arrests and disappearances of Syrians, and establishing checkpoints on Syrian territory. So they're taking Syria, part of the Greater Israel Project. They're expanding into Syria. They want more. They want more land. So it's never enough. It's never enough. And they always want more. And then they say, well, you're all a bunch of terrorists, so we have to. And even though now, yes, the new regime is al-Qaeda because the Israelis wanted that person in, but nonetheless, they're still doing it. Numerous villages in southern Syria have experienced Israeli incursions in recent weeks. At the United Nations Security Council session on October 24th, Syria's UN representative said Israel must refrain from interfering in Syria's internal affairs and should stop its incursions into Syrian territory. Right. He also condemned Israel's continued occupation of Syrian territory, including the Golan Heights. So, yeah, okay. So it doesn't even matter who's in charge. They're still going to take the land. See how it's just all a big giant lie and excuse? Next door in Lebanon, Israel has continued its regular violations of the ceasefire against Hezbollah. The south has been subject to particularly heavy bombing by Israel in recent days. Earlier on Sunday, Israel killed 2 people. Israel's war on Lebanon ended, supposedly, November 27th of 2024, almost a year ago, when a ceasefire was signed between Lebanon and Israel, but the Israeli military did not withdraw its troops from Lebanon and continued to bombard the country on a near-daily basis. So you can't even trust them. You can't trust them in their ceasefire. I mean, they're violating it with Syria. They're violating it with Gaza. They're in the West Bank killing people. They're violating it with Syria. They're violating it with Lebanon. They're in the West Bank killing people, and they're also now violating it in Gaza, to no surprise to anybody. And this is why, this is why people did not celebrate the ceasefire agreement in Gaza. What ceasefire agreement? You haven't ceased fire at all in Lebanon or in Syria. You guys are bombing it every day. And you still are not stopping in Gaza. You've killed people almost every day of this ceasefire agreement. And then you say, what? Self-defense, don't look at us. It's totally fine. Stop questioning. Stop noticing. Stop. You're just a bunch of anti-Semites. That's what it is. Or no, you guys are actually doing the very thing that all of us are accusing you of, which is you're over there terrorizing the people and you're stealing the land. And every single accusation is actually, obviously, very much a confession.
Nah, I ain't speaking no lies, nah, I ain't telling no tales. Lord, keep my lips real clean, I ain't trying to see hell. Ain't no need for the cap, I'ma keep it all straight. Truth be the light, I ain't riding with the fake. They be running their mouth, spreading dirt in the street, twisting up the facts, trying to see my defeat, throwing shade on my name, hoping that I'ma fall. But I walk with the Lord, I ain't stressing at all. I ain't gotta tell a lie just to get to the top. What he got for me is mine, ain't no need for the plot. I'ma stand on the word, I ain't breaking the code. Ain't no false testimony, I ain't selling my soul. Nah, I won't lie, nah, I won't hate. Ain't no false witness, I'ma keep it all straight. I'ma speak truth, I'ma walk in his name. Ain't no blessings in the gossip, I ain't playing them games. Nah, I won't lie, nah, I won't hate. Ain't no false witness, I'ma keep it all straight. I'ma speak truth, I'ma walk in his name. Ain't no blessings in the gossip, I ain't playing them games. They be twisting up the story, putting dirt on my name, but the Lord see it all, he be breaking them chains. Ain't no whisper in the dark that he don't bring to the light, so I keep my words clean, I ain't caught in the fight. See, the wicked love to gossip, love to stir up the mess, but the righteous hold their tongue, they ain't moving in stress. I ain't speaking out of turn, I ain't twisting the script. If it ain't truth from the Father, I ain't letting it slip. Nah, I won't lie, nah, I won't hate. Ain't no false witness, I'ma keep it all straight. I'ma speak truth, I'ma walk in his name. Ain't no blessings in the gossip, I ain't playing them games. Nah, I won't lie, nah, I won't hate. Ain't no false witness, I'ma keep it all straight. I'ma speak truth, I'ma walk in his name. Ain't no blessings In the gossip, I ain't playing them games.